Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be talking about some spiciness coming out of the LEC. Anyway, I already wanted to talk about Fnatic, but then a story came up that's going to give us an even easier way to talk about Fnatic. And I have a feeling we're going to be talking about them probably more than just this video this week, and especially over the next coming weeks and into the offseason. Fnatic is in a very, very weird, very, very tough, and very, very bad situation right now. And again, with some of the stories, some of the drama, the fan base getting riled up, all the issues that the organization has had in the past as far as management and rosters not performing as well as they probably should, or players, underperforming the sum of their parts and all this stuff. It's just kind of feeling like deja vu in a lot of ways, but this really might be one of the worst circumstances that Fnatic has had in recent history. So we'll be getting into that. I mean, first, taking a look at the standings. I mean, this is really, really crazy. This was supposed to be a super team coming into the season. I personally thought that this was the best LEC roster on paper. You bring in Wonder from G2. Yes, he didn't have a great year for G2 last year, but he is still Wonder. He is still very, very good, and especially with how they've been utilizing him, as like a weak side top laner. Wonder's been pretty solid. He's been pretty decent. And then you have Razork, who's an MVP candidate and an up-and-coming amazing jungler in 2021. You have Humanoid, who just won back-to-back titles, got out of groups at Worlds, made the semifinals at MSI. Humanoid was probably the best mid laner in the LEC in 2021. He was coming in super hot. And then you had probably the best lane in the West, best bot lane in the West, and Hillsang and Upset as well. People have heralded them as potentially one of the best bot lanes in the world in 2021. So yeah, I mean, there was just so much going well for this Fnatic team. Maybe they weren't going to be, the most dominant super team that the LEC has ever seen, but they were going to be at least a pretty damn good team. And again, 11 games in, that is certainly not the case. Now, yes, they do have 7 regular season games to turn this around. They might have the summer playoffs to turn this around as well, but hey, look at this right now. 6 teams make the playoffs. This isn't the LCS. Everybody doesn't make the playoffs. We're not taking top 8. We are only taking top 6, and Fnatic is tied for 6th. They are just one game away from being in 9th place with SK. They are tied with Astralis. They are tied with Misfits. These rosters that have no business being as good as Fnatic, having the same record as Fnatic. Now, yes, we are into the second round robin. We're 2 games into it, so strength of schedule isn't the same anymore. After the first round robin, yeah, everybody's played everybody, but now everybody's played a little bit different teams, and Fnatic actually had a little bit of a tough weekend. Obviously, they played Excel on Saturday, and then they played Rogue on Friday, so it's really one of the tougher weekends you could possibly have. They didn't play G2, they didn't play Mad Lions, but Excel and Rogue are both very, very good teams. So Fnatic possibly is better than their record would look, and the standings are really, really tight. If they just would have won a single one of those games, or if they would have won both of those games, this could all look very, very different. But the fact of the matter is that they didn't. And yeah, kind of just finding a way to lose both those games. Obviously, I believe it was a game against Rogue that was a little bit closer, or actually very, very close. I think this was the game with the Baron steal from Malrong, which was crazy and chaotic. But yeah, I mean, Rogue showed up. They played well. Larson 7-0-10 on his ear. Really crazy. And then this game against Excel, this one just did not go well for Fnatic overall. But yeah, so people have just been talking about what's going on with Fnatic. Are they even going to make playoffs? Even though the LEC has 4 world seeds now, fans seem really, really... If you look at the Fnatic subreddit right now, it's like a toxic wasteland. They're calling for everybody's head. They're calling for coaches, managers, players' heads, everything. And I get it. This should be very, very frustrating. This team, like I said, is 6th, 7th, 8th in the LEC right now, and that's not good enough, and it shouldn't be good enough. And yes, they played good teams, but if you can't beat good teams, if you can't hang with good teams, then you're probably not going to go to Worlds anyway. And even if you do, who gives a shit if you're just going to get your teeth kicked in at Worlds anyway? Again, if you can't even compete with these good teams, or occasionally come up with these wins, then it's not going to look very good. And some of that's obviously an overreaction, but this has led to a lot of people pointing fingers. I've seen fingers pointed at Razork all the way dating back to spring of like, damn, Razork, he maybe isn't as good as we thought he was going to be. Maybe he overperformed last year. Maybe he is still good, but he just doesn't fit in well with Fnatic. Maybe he just doesn't fit in well with Humanoid. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but a lot of fingers have been pointed towards Razork. And I think it's been very, very fair. He definitely has not been as good. Again, whatever the reason is, he has not been as good as advertised or as expected coming into the year. There's a lot of fingers being pointed at Hillsang as well. He has definitely not been so great in summer. A lot of people are kind of giving him a pass since he has been so historically good, but they're also saying, hey, this isn't really hilly meta. Enchanters are super, super strong. Those engaged champions, those big playmaking champions, they're not as good right now. And if you pick them, you're just going to be underperforming. And if you throw Hilly on something else, he's just not as good. But that's okay. Hey, if the meta comes back around, he'll be back. And yeah, that's fine. That's fair. But I would also bring into question, like, hey, if Hilly can't hang in multiple different metas, I think it is kind of fair to question his greatness or question why, is he not progressing on some of these other champs. Now, yes, I get it. The thing that makes him elite is those engaged playmaking champions, Leona, Alistar, Nautilus, even like the Pike pulling up some crazy stuff like that. He's been really good on Zillion, which I would have loved to see them pick this past weekend. But yeah, it's like whatever. He gets a pass. He's been great. So now a lot of the fingers are starting to point towards humanoid. People are calling him unmotivated. People are calling him lazy. People are saying that, hey, he was all good last year. Now he sucks. People are saying he just AFKs until like 20 minutes. The other team gets everything they want mid-jungle. The other team gets everything they want in the early game, and then humanoid tries to show up late. And then now that gets us to this, which was tweeted out by Fnatic NB17. This guy's like a super fan of Fnatic or something. I know who he is. He has 2,600 followers on Twitter. He's really big. Fnatic Dragons owner. He tweets about Fnatic all the time. He's a super fan, League of Legends, Valorant, all that stuff. He has like a community, tries to hype people up, all about Fnatic. And just a very, very passionate, maybe even a little bit crazy fan. He tweeted out this. This was yesterday night. He said, 6 days ago, Humanoid posted this on Instagram. Players in the lower leagues are fighting to get into the LEC. Hungry players whose dream it is to play at the highest level. Meanwhile, this is not what the fans want to see. Lack of motivation. This is just a disgrace. And apparently this is from Humanoid's Instagram. I don't know. It doesn't really say Humanoid anywhere on it. I don't know. I don't know. Take this with a grain of salt, I guess. He says this is from Humanoid's Instagram. It would be very, very strange if he was just lying about this. So I believe it, I guess. It says, could be at Tomorrowland. Instead, I'm in Berlin. Yay. Now, I don't know if it's Tomorrowland like a theme park, or I don't know exactly what this is, but obviously Berlin is where the LEC is played. This means, hey, I could be somewhere else, but I'm stuck in Berlin playing the LEC. Yay. He doesn't seem so excited. He doesn't seem so fired up. Now, is it the chicken or the egg? Is Fnatic underperforming? Is Humanoid maybe underperforming because he's not motivated, he's not excited, he's going through the motions, he's burnt out, whatever? Or are things not going well at Fnatic and they've tried their hardest and they're getting frustrated and now they're losing? Spring Split was already tough, but they still finished towards the top of the standings. Now Summer Split, they're looking even worse. Things are even tougher, and now they're not at the top of the standings. Now they may not even make playoffs. Is that causing the burnout? Is that everyone being like, hey, this sucks. Our team is not good. We're not doing anything special this year. Get me the heck out of here. I don't know. You could make the argument either way. I think this is kind of leaning towards the fact that, hey, people are unmotivated and that's what's making the team bad. But I could also see the case being made for the team being bad and that being frustrating and unmotivating some people. But again, people are not happy with this. This is going to get more fingers pointed at Humanoid. He's already getting a lot of the blame and stuff. He goes on to say, the tweet is deleted now, but we can still see it here. This was deleted just recently because, again, this came up on my feed today, July 24th. It was tweeted yesterday. But I guess today he decided it was good to take it down. I don't know. He said, Tomorrowland during the season, especially when you have so much work to do with the team and individually. Come on, man. Where's the captain to put him into his place? It smells of lack of motivation and drive to win. Just a spit in the face to all of us. And this is really getting some people riled up. Some people are asking for, Fnatic TQ players to get called up. I don't know. I don't want to make the video all about this post or anything like that because, again, I don't even know too much about it. But, hey, there are Fnatic fans, there are Fnatic communities pointing fingers at a lot of different players. Everyone's catching some strays right now because, all in all, a lot of people have not looked very good. Overall, when you look at Humanoid, his stats are kind of interesting. As far as KDA goes, he's very middle of the pack. Gold difference at 10. Again, he's very, very middle of the pack. CSD at 10 is actually pretty good, but again, the gold's not really there. So who cares if you have CSD if you're still falling behind in gold? The CS doesn't really mean all that much. But what is crazy is that he has the top of the charts damage per minute in the LEC right now. Even though he's having those middling to bad early games, he's like maybe the 5th or 6th best early game mid laner, but damage per minute, he is there. And that's what people have always said about Humanoid and still say about Humanoid now. Like, Yeah, he plays passive. Yeah, he maybe gives up too much in the early to mid game. Yeah, he doesn't have great mid-jung synergy with a lot of his junglers, and they're not getting a whole lot done. They're not getting their team a lot of big advantages. They're not helping out around the map a ton. But this guy's a monster in team fights. He always shows up at the end of the game. He's going to be there in the late game team fight. He's going to give you a chance to win, and that's his greatness. That's where he shines. But the interesting part is when you look at kills, this guy has the second to last kills in the league. So what is going on? Like, is he getting kills in the late game with his high damage per minute, but he's just getting to the mid to late game with like 0 kills every single game? Or is that damage just all poke? I know he's played like 3 quirky games. I don't know. It's just very, very strange. But yeah, overall, even though his damage numbers are really, really popping, when you look at some other players with some similar damage numbers, you can take a look at back to damage per minute. Number 3 in the league is Caps with 683. And if we look at Caps' kills, Caps has 54 kills. Caps has almost double or more than double the kills of Humanoid. Larson, another guy with similar damage numbers. Larson has 9 more kills than him, and way more assists. Like, Larson has some insane KP. Humanoid is dishing out a lot of damage, but he's not getting a lot done with it, and he's having the questionable early to mid games. We saw the game against Excel where he died like 3 times on Vex in the first like 15 minutes. You just getting return ganked. And there's a lot of people with different answers. Like, hey, is it Humanoid needs to play better? He needs to do more. He needs to be more proactive. Is it Razork needs to play around him more? Is Humanoid needs to get out of lane and play around other people more? I don't know. There is just so much going wrong with this Fnatic team. And like I said, there's just 7 games left in the regular season. You'd like to say, hey, we're going to ramp it up for playoffs. Fnatic might not even be there in the summer playoffs. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, things are starting to get, things have already gotten crazy over at Fnatic. Like I said, fans, the subreddit, Twitter, everywhere. And that's not going to make it easier for the players to play or perform. So things are bad right now. They could definitely get worse, but they could definitely get easier as well. It seems like Fnatic's schedule, the next 7 games will be easier than what they've had so far in the second round robin. Maybe they'll get hot, maybe not. But man, if this team doesn't make playoffs, and if this team doesn't make worlds when the LEC has 4 seeds, that's going to be an absolute disaster for a team spending this kind of money for a team with this caliber of players. And then that's going to make the offseason very, very spicy. Of course, it doesn't make things better when they kicked Niski, and then you see Niski and Mad Lion sitting at 8-3 tied for first in the LEC, and you see Fnatic tied for 6 right now, potentially looking outside of the playoff picture. But I don't know. That's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about Fnatic or anything we talked about in this video today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out the Discord. First link in the description below. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.